So Randy here has a heart attack at Unbreakable one day, full on heart attack, full on fucking heart attack. And Rob Gronkowski's working out there. Randy has a Widowmaker heart attack at Unbreakable. And I'm like, hey, dude, you know, if you fucking died, it would totally change the brand. We'd have to call it Breakable. It's just not a good brand, right? So thanks for not fucking dying, asshole. And but a full on Widowmaker heart attack, then walks to the fucking hospital because he doesn't want to deal with parking, right? And Gronk goes, man, if I could have what's behind my rib cage, like Randy has behind his, I'll be unbreakable. I go, wait, Gronk, hold that thought, because that fucking heart's about to explode. So we get down to the fucking hospital. I bust into Cedars-Sinai. He is in post-op. They just put a stent in. They told you had, what, 10 minutes to live?
They said if I'd have been anywhere else, it might have been a different day completely. And it's crazy. I mean, things happen when and where they're supposed to happen. You got to have some faith that that's the truth. I mean, the month before I was hiking up Yosemite Falls, as dehydrated as I've been in quite a while. And the dehydration is what caused the plaque rupture and the scar tissue in that artery. If that had happened up there, I would have been toast. It would have been done.
The doctors kept telling us,
my condo is 3 blocks from Cedars-Sinai. Right. Let's be honest, it's a lot quicker to walk those 3 blocks than try and drive over there.
Not with a fucking Widowmaker heart attack, it's not, bro. Well, he gets there.
I thought I popped a rib, man.
He thought he popped a rib. Heart attack. He's trying to foam roller out a heart attack at the gym. He's trying to foam roller it. So I get to the hospital. Like 5 doctors already told me, oh, your friend was 10, 15 minutes away from dying. And I finally said, hey, guys, enough of this. Like, fuck enough, all right? I get it. He gets it. Let's stop saying this. Take it out of the universe. He's here. So then they're like, well, you got to wait for him to get, I ain't fucking waiting for him. Because when I almost died 7 years ago at Cedars-Sinai, where both my lungs aspirated, Randy was my emergency contact, because in my fucked up mind, I'm going to get my back done, cleaned up. And I did this with him once. I'm going to come out of anesthesia. I'm going to feel great. And we're going to train. So Randy's going to pick me up to go train. Instead, I wake up and his fucking ugly mug is standing over my gurney in critical care at Cedars-Sinai. And I'm like, well, I know I'm not dead and in heaven, because if I was, his fucking ass wouldn't be here. So if I'm dead, I'm somewhere else. But I don't think I'm dead, but I don't know what's going on. But the point is, my brother was there for me. He was the first one there standing over my gurney while my oxygen was dropping faster and faster. And you know, my book Unbreakable came from a promise I made with God during that time. Randy, you were trying to get me to turn my phone off, right? He kept saying, hey, bro, I think this is a real thing here. And I didn't understand what was happening. And, you know, all of a sudden that room went shoot, and it shifted away. And that was my moment that I kind of made this promise with God of, okay. And I literally said, like, God, and my oxygen dropped to 60. And I said, okay, God, I think I'm coming to see you. And if I am, it's okay. I love you. But I get choked up talking about it. I said, but if it's not time, I promise I'll do more in this world. And MVP, and then this book, Unbreakable, and this podcast, this is my way of keeping my promise to God, that I would do more, that I would help people. I know I got a little sidetracked here, but this is, you know, had I left this world, then there would be a lot of people I know that also wouldn't be here, because the charitable work we've done with MVP and now helping people, give them word for mental health. So this is my way of keeping my promise to God. And a lot of times I think people make that deal and they forget about it. And they're like, okay, now I'm good. And, or a lot of times we go, okay, when you're successful, you're like, I'm the reason. And when things aren't going well, you like to blame God or the universe, or, you know, use a scapegoat. So now let's fast forward here, because Randy was standing over my gurney. I'm like, there's no fucking way I'm waiting for them to tell me when it's okay to go see him. So I come busting through post-op, get in there. He's about 10 minutes out of his procedure, his surgery. And he's just sitting there. He's like, okay, I think I'm good to go. And I'm like, what do you mean we're good to go? He goes, yeah, I'm good. I think I'm ready to leave. I'm like, bro, you're 10 minutes out of a fucking Widowmaker heart attack. we're not good to go. And you and I are very stubborn, right? Extremely stubborn. Well, we convinced him to stay. And then about, 2 hours later, he starts sweating. And I look at him and said, hey, how you holding up, cowboy? And he says, something's going wrong. So I go and get the doctors. The doctors right in again, like, oh, well, let's go. You know, your friend was 10 minutes away from dying. I'm like, hey, I'm not going to fucking tell you again. We're not saying this shit anymore. They also, you don't know this, but when I got there, they told me those days of fighting for your friend, those days are over. And I said, hey, don't fucking take his hope away. Don't you tell him that. If anybody needs to have that conversation with him, I'll have that conversation when the time is right. Okay. And we're going to lead to that story here to tell that. So I don't think you know that happened, Randy, outside your room there. I fucking wore this doctor out. Don't you ever, none of y'all go in and tell him and take his fucking hope away of what makes him feel different and special. So all of a sudden the doctors come in there and they said, how you feeling? And he says, I'm starting to feel some pain again here in my heart. They said, what's your pain level at? Randy goes, oh man, I'd say it's about a 2. This motherfucker has a full-on heart attack. And he says, a 2? And they go, what was it like at the height of your heart attack? Do you remember the number you gave?
I
do.
It was a 4 or a 5.
A 4. It said a 4. It says 4. And I said, guys, hold on. Let me just show you how different this person is you're dealing with. Randy broke his arm against Gabriel Gonzaga in a fight and ended up picking the dude up and slamming him on his nose, knowing that the doctors were going to stop the fight in between rounds. Randy, what was the pain level like when you broke your arm? Do you remember what you said?
It didn't really hurt. It was, I mean, I knew there was something wrong with it. It was clicking, but it didn't hurt. I mean, in the moment, it didn't hurt.
Okay, people, you want to talk about mental health issues. This motherfucker just said, it didn't hurt. And not only that, he got mad at me. He said, it didn't hurt. It was just pressure. It was clicking. Okay. I was like, whoa. See? So don't ask him what his fucking pain threshold is because he's just different. So fast forward. And then, by the way, he checks himself out of intensive care the next day because he was bothered by all the beeps and sounds in there.
No, man, nobody could sleep in that place. How does anybody get any rest in there? And then somebody brought their damn dog up in there. I'm like, what the hell?
So 3 weeks after this heart attack, Randy comes back into Unbreakable to have, we threw a little party for him, like, hey, we're glad you're not dead party, you know. We have being as loving as we are. And next thing I know, this fucking fool goes into our office and comes back out, and he is fully geared up to train, to spar, fully. And he says to me, let's go get your stuff on. And I'm like, dude, what are we doing here? He's like, let's go get your stuff on. I'm like, Randy,
I was cleared.
You said I'm on blood thinners. It's not your problem, right?
Yeah.
He said, it's not your problem. I said, Randy, we're 3 weeks away from Widowmaker heart attack. And do you remember the line you hit me with to guilt me into spar to spar? Do you remember the line?
No, what did I say?
You said, I would do it for you.
Oh.
What an asshole. What an asshole. I would do it for you, like, motherfucker. Well, I went and got my gear on. Randy and I we sparred, and the way Randy and I spar, we don't ever, I learned from him not to move back, just to go forward. So obviously he does it too. So we just sit there and we go. And the bell rang and there was no rest. And then the bell rang again and there was no rest. And we just kept going and going and going. I think we went 3 5-minute rounds straight without any fucking rest. Yeah. Right? And then you pulled your gloves off and said, hey, fuck these doctors. And he threw his gloves and walked out of the fucking cage. That is Randy Couture for you folks. Any comment?
We're still here smiling.
And then you coach Ava Knight for another 2 hours and some of our football players for another 3 hours.
Yeah.
You're just a fucked up dude. Let's be honest.
The doctors weren't sure what to do with me. So what am I going to do? Send you to rehab to curl 10-pound weights? I mean, it wasn't a lifestyle issue. It was a genetic issue. And
they didn't tell you to spar.
You know, but that's what we do.
It's just, but he hits me with that line. I would do it for you. Like, oh man. And you're right, he would, no doubt. But oh my God, it was an all-timer. And then Jay Haran hit me with that line later on also. I hit him with the line when I wanted him to help me get back to my shoulder and spar 4 months before I was supposed to fucking after a piece of my labrum cut out. But that's folks, we're talking, this is a mental health podcast. So everything you just heard here, do the opposite.